afternoon and welcome to the ninth unit of Block 3 IMC, and today's topic is publicity and public relation. Well, these are two key components in the IMC or the promotion mix, which we commonly call publicity and public relation stand out for the credibility and the cost effectiveness among all the other promotion mix elements. Now, publicity, which is primarily an infotainment, that means it informs and also entertains. Well, public is always interested in anything that is cheesy, that is anything that entertains their thought process, and they do believe what is being conveyed to them. But publicity, usually done by a third party, is in contrast to what public relations usually are, which are intentionally or are voluntarily done by the organization. Now, uh, publicity provides some interesting, juicy content, stories, some controversial news to the public, to the general public, including the customers and the shareholders, and the capability of changing their opinion uh, about the product or the company is what is looked up to. Now, public relations, on the other hand, is a task to professionally handle the crisis situations or manage to have a positive public image about the product, about the brand, about the company, and their services that are rendered. Uh, the crisis may have happened intentionally or unintentionally, but it needs to be clarified to the public. Otherwise, the public's perception may fall on the negative side. So it is a sensitive issue that the company shouldn't be ignoring. Okay. Now, let us see these two elements. What are their purposes? Why do we have to go for publicity, or why do we have to go for public relation? Or if publicity is happening, how do we take the positive effect of it or mitigate the negative effect of any untoward antagonistic publicity being done? Okay. Now, purpose of publicity usually is to generate the media attention. uh, the publicity is done for the media attention, and the media thereby brings this juicy news to the people. It is to influence the public's perception. Well, if it is positive, it must be welcomed. If it is negative, care must be taken to communicate to the public about the authenticity of the message conveyed through these agencies and what exactly is the story and what has transpired. Now, since this is being done by the third party, the company doesn't have to spend money, and so it is cost effective. Most of the times it is free, and sometimes you may just have to spend some meager amount. Well, they are very rare situations. On the other hand, if we look at public relations, public relations are done to build the mutual understanding between the company and the stakeholders, right? Uh, to manage the brand reputation and also create that trust so that a long term trustworthy relationship is developed, and the people's belief in the company and the products is persistent. Okay. Now, both these elements of promotional mix, that is publicity and public relation, uh, aim to create awareness, keep the relationships intact and positive, generate goodwill about the company and its brand and products, and also support all kinds of branding efforts. Okay. Be it a launch of a new product, be it a variant being launched, or be it a new market being tapped or reached. So all this have to be done in favor of the brand. Okay. Now let us look at the role of publicity. What exactly does publicity do? Publicity basically is a subset of public relation. Okay. But what is the role of publicity then? It involves media coverage that is not paid for, and the message that is communicated through this media may have an impact on the company or the brand or the protagonist there, and helps to create a buzz among the public, be it an event or a brand or a product, and it becomes a talk of the town, right? And people talk about it. So it gets that visibility, it gets that presence, it gets that attention. Well, if it is positive, like launching of a company or a brand or a product or a variant, well, it is all good. Otherwise, well, we need to manage the publicity in order to avoid any kind of dire consequences generated by it, intentionally or unintentionally. Well, on the other hand, let us understand what public relations are. Public relations actually shape the public's opinions regarding the company, the product, and ensure that they are creating a positive image of the company. It acts as a strategic communications bridge between the company and the public, the brand and the public, the stakeholders and the customers. Now, public relations supports the crisis management, the brand positioning, and also any event sponsorship. Okay. Now, they are both important, and care must be taken to ensure that you reap the positive benefits out of these two elements. Both publicity and public relation as IMC elements support the consistency of the brand message and the brand image across all channels. So, the marketing may prefer various channels to reach and make its presence felt and be in the mind of the customer, to be in the top of mind recall, so that the revenue generation is a continuous process and profits um, be made. So, publicity and public relation both increase the credibility due to the third party endorsements. Well, no company would like to beat their own drums. And if it is an accolade that is commendable, that is like say very unique, well, the company can certainly flaunt that. But otherwise, like say suppose they have got a breakthrough patent, well, that is something they need to flaunt and tell the public that they have achieved this, a breakthrough innovation. But otherwise, if it is a general achievement or accolade, people may not really receive it in its true spirit. So the same if it is a piece of news, people will believe. So a third party message being conveyed to the public has more credibility than they themselves convey the message to the public. So publicity and PR increase the credibility. Publicity and PR also help in persuading and educating the people, the audiences. Like whenever something new comes, a new concept or a new thought process comes, so that needs to be educated to the public, and it is necessary to communicate the message in a clear way to the target. Let us also check on the scope of publicity and public relation. First, let us take the publicity's scope of publicity. We can break it into three parts. One is the product publicity, the company publicity, and the event publicity, to be specific. Now, when it comes to the company publicity, product publicity is obviously the new launch or say the awards that they receive. The award, like I said, when they receive a breakthrough recognition of an innovation or a patent, that is also a part of this. So the product publicity, it comes under the product publicity. And then we have the company publicity, where the company must be doing a lot of CSR activities, or say some sustainability reports are generated, and this needs to be communicated to the public in order to create that kind of a image for the company, wherein people's trust with the company improves, right? And then we have event publicities like press releases or media invites, where the company announces about their plans for the future, or the innovations that they are bringing, or the changes that they are bringing, or maybe their achievements in the interest of the public to be communicated. On the other hand, when it comes to the scope of public relations, we see internal public relations, external public relation, and then digital public relation. Sorry. What are these internal public relations? To name a few, like it is basically the communication with the internal customers, we say, in the marketing language, the employees of the organization, the stakeholders of the organization, the suppliers and vendors of the organization, who form that internal environment of the organization. So any PR attempted to reach and communicate to this community is the internal public relation, and the external public relation is basically the media, the customers, the government, and the general public, okay, who may or may not have interest in us as customers, but then they are prospects. That is the pool where we get our customers from. So they all form the external environment, where any communication in the form of public relations, in order to maintain that image, is done by the company, fall under the external public relation. And then we talk about the digital public relation, which is the social media outreach and the influencer engagement. We have these online reviews and all. So how they are managed, and how the correct message is being reached to the customers. Okay. Now, besides the scope extends to branding, the scope extends to government relation, the public-private relations, the corporate communications, financial PR is one area which the publicity and public relations cater to, crisis management, and also reputation management. All these come under the IMC elements, publicity and public relation. Let us look at the various functions of public relations and publicity. Let us first start with the public relation functions. The very first public relation function would be media relations. Actually, the handling of the press releases, the events, is what is coming under this. The example that we can cite here is about Apple when it launches a new product. The PR team of the company issues press kits and invites the tech journalists to talk about the new launch they are planning, and they would give them exclusive previews about the product. Tech journalists like The Verge or say Tech Church and others who would come and witness and have the first view or the preview of the product, and then they would then bring up messages of, I mean, how the product is, what the product promises and all. Well, it may further follow some kind of publicity activities as well, but it is the public relation function, as it is voluntarily done by the PR team, and an attempt to communicate with this PR team, I mean, the media team, is to build anticipation and ensure that the product gets that kind of a visibility, a controlled, accurate, and right media coverage. Okay, so that a majority of people get to know what exactly is Apple planning. Okay. Then we come across the second function of public relations, that is our crisis communication, which is managing the reputation during a crisis. There's every possibility an intentional stone pelting is done, or say mud splashing is done on the company. Well, whatever the crisis or some accident has occurred, so this needs to be clarified, or an unfortunate effect, say side effect of a product has happened. Well, let's take an example here. Nestle India faced a crisis when Maggi noodles, um, it was alleged to have lead content, high lead content, and the PR team of Nestle India handled this crisis pretty well by bringing to the media, the right picture, the test diagnosis reports, the lab disclosures, and also the public statements that are made to rebuild that trust, right? Because of the transparency and their attempt to clarify through this public relation message, uh, Nestle India could, I mean, was able to successfully rebuild that image, and Maggie returned to the shelves within 6 months. Okay. The third is our, say, corporate communication. Exactly, it means the managing the internal and external communication. We can take the example of Infosys. Um, Infosys regularly releases, well, many others also do. Infosys regularly releases these quarterly earnings reports, and also the CEO letters are sent to the customers, investors, and stakeholders. And the media is also informed about this, ensuring a transparency of their operations and reinforcing their investor faith or investor confidence in with the company. Well, this helps maintain a stable image in the market. Okay. Now, number four, event management. That is planning and publicizing company events. Um, Let us take the example of Tata Motors when they organized a media exclusive launch event for their new electric vehicle, Nexon EV, Tata Nexon EV, which was attended by auto journalists, and bloggers and influencers. Well, the coverage that these people give after the meet, um, created a fantastic buzz and built the product image and the product credibility that Tata expected the public to bear. Um, we then talk about the community relations. Community relations, in the sense, the CSR activities the company keeps doing, and the community development that the company regularly renders. ITC had taken an initiative of e-choppers, helping the rural farmers to access digital resources so that they get the right the right price for their produce, and also reach it to the right markets at the right time. And their PR team, ITC's PR team, actively shares these stories through the CSR reports, and also the local news features. And this helped position ITC as a responsible and ethical company, the outcome of a PR activity. Then we see like reputation management. Reputation management is basically about the monitoring and shaping of the brand image of the company, brand image and the company image, and have a positive public opinion about the company. During the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal, now Facebook PR team launched a campaign to emphasize new privacy controls and transparency features. Uh, Alexander Alexander Kogan, a professor from the Cambridge University, had brought up an app which helps the public in their psychological tests, thereby revealing a lot of personal information through this Facebook. I mean, as a platform in the. I mean, Facebook was used as a platform, and Cambridge Analytica use this data, which is Cambridge Analytica, a political consulting company. Now they uh, use this data from the Facebook, and thereby breaching the privacy of the Facebook subscribers, and use this data to, to generate the people's opinion about the upcoming election in 2016, which became a huge hue and cry because of the breach of personal data and privacy. And for that reason, they were sued. Certainly, Facebook had to spill a lot of fine amount, but then they brought up these privacy controls so that the customer data, the subscriber data, is safe. Um, and to communicate this, they had they had invited some media for the reputation management. Uh, well, this aim to restore the public faith and trust and protect its long-term image and reputation in the eyes of the subscribers. Okay, let us look at some of the functions of publicity. Uh, well, the first is information dissemination. Okay, providing newsworthy content to the public, done by third parties usually. Now, if we look at Zomato, it often trends in the social media when users or the media outlets share quirky jokes or quirky updates about their Zomato experiences from their apps, like the fun delivery messages and all, or the viral tweets that happen, keeping Zomato in the picture always, right? Now, this helped Zomato earn a lot of publicity that spread the brand awareness. People who do not rely on services like Zomato's still got aware of what Zomato does. And once they get to know what Zomato does, obviously, whenever they required such services, they opted for Zomato. Now, that is how it works. So, this kind of a publicity which builds the awareness of a brand and a service or the product in the market, well, comes to the recall of the customer or a prospect just at the time when needed. Well, the second is buzz creation. After information dissemination, the other function we talk about publicity is buzz creation. That means triggering a lot of word of mouth in the market. Now, when the Barbie movie, they marketed the movie so well, and the marketing team actually lit up globally. Landmark places in complete pink. I mean, they lit up the entire global landmark area in pink and launched teasers strategically. Now, this actually helped in getting the visibility. Now, major media outlets picked it up and discussed it without any payment, right? So this generated a massive pre-release excitement globally, and the buzz that was created, um, well, um, brought more viewers to the movie. Okay. Uh, the third party validation is the other function of publicity. Like mentioned earlier, uh, if a company has to, has achieved something, well, the belief and the respect it would claim from the public would be more when it is praised or mentioned by a third party instead of they themselves doing it. Well, they will certainly be a representative of the organization who would be sorry, announcing it or briefing about it. But then the third party validation gains credibility to the company via the media coverage. Now, Forbes India lists a startup like Boat, Boat Lifestyle as one of the fastest growing brand. Uh, when Forbes India does it, well, the mileage it gets, the visibility it gets, and the credibility it gets is exponentially higher than they themselves going for any kind of a promotion or communication about their their performance. Okay, so consumers trust third party endorsements more than the company doing it themselves, right? That is any kind of a self promotion or self boasting, we can say, uh, will not have as much mileage as is brought by the third party endorsement. Um, One other function of publicity is the media exposure. By media exposure, we are actually intending to say to earn a media attention and or get the free attention of the media. Uh, how does it come if you are not attempting it? Look at how wonderfully it's done by Elon Musk. Now, Tesla doesn't spend on advertising, rather, Elon Musk's tweets are always in the media conversations, right? So instead of Elon Musk tweets and the product updates um, being mentioned and talked about by the media, Tesla, with the kind of, I mean, Tesla could have certainly done their own advertisement, but they really do not do this. Sorry. So, uh, the media exposure that Tesla gets through Elon Musk's tweets uh, is a way better communication, and it comes free of cost, and it has always got the eye of the public who wait for it, and the brand stays in the public's eye without actually any formal budget catered to their corporate communications attempts. Okay. And the last function we can think about publicity is building the hype. I mean, the hype that is built around the launch events happening or some kind of campaign that the company attempts. So we can see this in the case of iPhone. So before launching iPhone, rumors and leaks, I mean, intentional or not, they do happen. Those rumors are flooded in the, I mean, through the tech blogs or influencer talks or say YouTube channels. And this media, I mean, the media speculates on the features and the pricing. And a hype is created much before the product is actually launched. As mentioned, it may be intentional or unintentional. Such a suspense created will call for the attention of the audience and they eagerly look for the product. Uh, and many people are even ready for the product. Okay. So now this is a very classic publicity tool that is creating the hype or building the hype about a company or a brand or its products or services. Well, this is how the publicity and public relation actually function. Now let us look at the significance of publicity and public relation in our integrated marketing communication. The first, the most important significance we see here is uh, it it is cost effective, right? Uh, it is an earned media, and the costs are far less than the paid advertising, be it publicity or public relation. In either case, it is they are very cost effective. The next is the credibility is much more when, in the case of publicity, particularly, the third party um, endorses the about the company or the product, and the public sees usually the media coverage as being more trustworthy. So we can say publicity and public relations have better credibility than advertisements, which may seem fabricated. Uh, the third is like relationship building. Both these elements maintain trust with the stakeholders, and they ensure that the image is intact, and they sustain that kind of an image and trust in the company. uh, when it comes to crisis and crisis responses can better be handled, and any negative news that is uh, arising can be better managed or handled. All kinds of, I mean, both publicity and public relation attempt to handle the negative news effectively. Um, while public relation has a more long-term image created than publicity, either of, I mean, both of them, uh, PR, I mean, ensures a consistent brand image and reputation in particular. And publicity is no less, but then PR always attempts to bring in a long-term image building and trustworthiness of the organization. It also helps in influencing the decision making, like it shapes the perceptions during the product launch or the I mean the product performance when it comes to that. It influences the decision making of the public and the customers. So it is very essential to keep these both the publicity and the public relation at bay on positive. Uh, Let us briefly understand also the key features of publicity and public relation. Well, we did mention most of them through the discussion now, but then they certainly require a distinct mention. So let us look at the key features of publicity and public relation. Publicity. Uh, it is an uncontrolled, I mean, uncontrolled message or communication, because it is usually the media which decides what to speak, right? So publicity is having lesser control. I mean, the company has got a lesser control on publicity, so it has to be very careful about creating only positive vibes and positive events in the organization, and images created have to be positive so that the media picks only the positive messages, right? On the other hand, public relation is a controlled communication. um, you coin it, though you build it, I mean, though you construct the content and the message in your communication, though it is under your control, ensure that it seems authentic. Uh, Otherwise, the public relation attempt may boomerang. Both publicity and public relations are cost effective, as mentioned earlier. Public relations involves a little cost. I mean, you need to have a PR department, have some staff, have some very competent people who can handle the communications very effectively, and also create campaigns that can give you that kind of a positive image. So public relations involves some cost, whereas publicity is almost free, and it is earned. Okay. The next is the timing. Publicity, as is not under our control, there's a possibility of having a very unpredictable communication or publicity being created. So one needs to be on their toes to understand what is transpiring in the organization with the brand, with the product performance, the reception of the product by the public, and if there are any untoward incidents happening, like what happened with Nestle's Maggie, or say there are some drugs which have always had side effects and people lost their lives. So you need to be aware of what's happening in the market with your product, with your company, with your brand image, and ensure that uh, the media doesn't actually pick those negative, unfortunate things happening and hype it, or say give it, put it under a magnifying glass, right? So the timings is very important when it comes to publicity, because it is very unpredictable. Unlike publicity, public relations is a planned and a sustained effort done. Uh, then we talk about the credibility of publicity and public relation. Well, publicity has got very high credibility because it comes from third party. As mentioned earlier, people do believe the third party's version than the companies. On the contrary, when we look at public relation, the credibility is certainly high, provided it is executed professionally. So when I said like the public relation team should have expertise in their task, in their understanding, in their communication skills, in their alertness, in their understanding of the company, the brand, and how to create that kind of an image for the brand, the product, and the company. They need to have that level of expertise to keep that credibility, or keep that trustworthiness intact. The objective of publicity is attention grabbing. On the contrary, the public relation objective is always image building and remaining trustworthy. And publicity in particular is having an impact which is of a shorter duration. So it has a short term impact, whereas public relations, when planned properly, when planned efficiently, will have a very long term impact. So the strategies to be taken as public relation attempt have to be very, very I mean, competitive, very, very. They must communicate the message in the most efficient manner. Uh, Let me check if there is anything else that can be shared. If we can just take Zomato as a case study, and see like how the various publicity attempts, the how the information dissemination happens, and the publicity that it gathers, and the impact that it has created. Usually, they have these data-driven reports, like the publicity through insights, the influencers' insights, or the public. We call them the public-facing reports. Okay. Now, Zomato's annual food trend report, like India Eats Out. Uh, that was one such data driven report which tried to give an impression to people like India is eating out, and there is a reliable service that reaches food to you. You do not have to always prepare the food. So the ordering trends that it focused, uh, um, attempted to establish the concept of giving the homemakers kind of a break and rely on the food that they place order and I mean buy from outside. So that's a publicity stunt for Zomato when it created this kind of a buzz in the market, and the publicity was very successful. Um, well, there are witty and viral social media posts happening, like quirky food puns were posted by the users. Like, I mean, there are some interactive posts sometimes by Zomato itself, like, what kind of a foodie are you? Right? And these quizzes brought in a lot of information about the um, consumer behavior, right? And all this was covered in the social media blogs like Social Samosa and Mad Over Marketing, right? Uh, uh, and they created that kind of a impact in the market. There are other strategic press releases and media coverages that happened, like business efforts and CSR efforts that Zomato did, like Zomato feeding India initiatives. That very headline talks volumes, and um, and like the Zomato CSR initiative, like Feeding India campaign that they did, was one such event which brought great mileage to Zomato because of the media publicity. Uh, Influencers mention about Zomato, its services, food bloggers, and YouTubers, their reviews and uh, like and when they refer to Zomato and how organically Zomato performs, sharing the restaurant reviews and the food reviews, how the food reaches to them in time, and all this actually gave a visually consistent image for Zomato. And the publicity outcome that we see here was a complete free word of mouth, and also a lot of user generated content uh, helped Zomato to get that visibility. All these are basically the publicity outcomes, I mean, which the company takes great advantage of. Um, well, as long as it's publicity, it's free. Otherwise, the PR attempts that a company has to indulge will um, will certainly come at cost. Um, well, your book has got few more. I mean, your study material has got few more topics, but they are pretty lucid to understand. You may go through them. My attempt to bring examples for various uh, publicity and PR functions. Um, I guess this is done. And if you have any query, you can always reach to me at rajugopalsilla@gmail.com. And that's for today. And we'll meet tomorrow. Thank you.